My name is... well, you can call me whatever you want. Welcome to my first review I ever made, a review of the game Arx Fatalis. Now, you might think, oh good, another review on this game, as if there aren't enough already. Well, let me tell you a little story. I accidentally found this game on Steam in August of 2018. I've never seen or heard about it before, and that really surprised me since the game was made decades ago and I'm quite fond of old games. It looked nice, it had a low price of €5, and moreover, it had a demo. Now I'm someone who dislikes buying crap for money, so I decided to just play the demo and buy the full game if I'll enjoy it. After playing the full game, I wanted to make a review of the game to talk about my experience. I didn't find a lot of reviews or content for that matter at the time, so it seemed like a good idea. However, something would always come up and get in the way of making the review. Work, studies, illnesses, pajamas. Eventually my procrastinating nature took over and I kind of decided to put the project on the shelf. But this game wouldn't leave me. I would sometimes remember it while doing something. It occasionally popped up in the list of games currently on sale. Sometimes YouTube would recommend me someone's review of the game, and something really unsettling. I saw a car next to my home with a number plate that had the letters Arx. It's probably a coincidence. Or maybe it's a sign that I should finish something I've started years ago. But lo and behold, it's 2022. There were several reviews created, some with nearly 1 million views. At this point you might ask, why even bother with making a review now? Well, it still bugs me to this day that no one ever spoke about the problems and issues I've had with this game. Now it might be me, but as I've noticed, no review mentioned those problems and some of them feel like a dry book report that had little effort or emotion put in. I'm not a fan of that. So here you go, my reasons for making this review. It's not without flaws and it might benefit from more time being put into it. But if I won't release it now, I'll never release it. Now before I begin, I should mention that I'm using a mod called Arx Libertatis.
Arx Libertatis.
Arx Libertatis.
It fixes a lot of problems, and without it, it is unplayable. It is just nigh impossible to run the game without crashing or experiencing visual glitches. And last thing, English is not my native language, so if I make mistakes in my speech or my accent is hard to understand, I sincerely apologize. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Most if not all of the reviewers just skip the intro movie or tell it to make it short, but I want you to watch it from start to finish. Oh, behind you! Look behind you! Ah, he's sleeping.
Listen to me, beings of light, and take note of what I have to say. This is Arx, which was once a city like so many others, spreading proudly beneath the majesty of the sun.
Okay.
Our king Paxellus was a true and just king, who knew how to deal with our occasional skirmishes with the goblins or the Ratman.
The Ratman.
Many years after Paxellus's death, in the fatal year of 226, our sun began to fall into decline, and an eternal winter fell upon our world. His Majesty Lundshire, noble son of Paxellus, decided to move the whole city of Arx underground into one of the dwarves' abandoned mines.
Sure.
At this point, the conflicts between the different races in Arx dissolved. Not just humans, but dwarves, trolls, and goblins all worked together for their common survival. This migration underground took 5 years, during which the sun disappeared completely from our skies. All the races built their homes in this new setting, and little by little, relationships between the races began to slip back to the way they had always been. But today, evil is knocking at the gates.
Knock knock.
Akbar, the god of destruction, is about to...
Oh, hello! Evil is not knocking, he's just barging into the door. Oh dude, he's like a ninja, man!
This way, quick! Don't let him get away!
Yeah, get him!
Gotcha! It's alright! He's
Come
trapped
on.
here!
Get this door broken down.
Oh, damn it. I think I accidentally skipped it. Let's try again. No, I didn't skip it. It just ends abruptly. Don't see that very often in games. Now, since we're in the menu, I guess I'll talk a little bit about it. For a fantasy RPG, it's unusually bland. Usually you would expect some sort of heroic music playing, an artwork with a badass hero or something. But no, the developers opted for something bland. Of course, it's not the first game with a bland menu. System Shock 2 comes to mind. It didn't have any music, just a machine computer hum in the background. Half-Life didn't have any sound in the menu. The PlayStation 2 version did have music though. Why? An Arx Fatalis has wind howling and 3 Yoda-looking dudes staring at you. Here, and another one is barely visible, unless you look from a distance. Okay, whatever, who cares about the menu? Let's just begin the game already. Oh, it's one of those games. Let's just distribute the points equally, more or less. Be a jack of all trades. This usually works. I'll talk about the character creation some more in a bit. For now, let's just begin the game. Our protagonist literally appears out of thin air, screaming and naked. And he's being carried by some goblin-looking thing to a prison or something. What a great beginning. I didn't even do anything. Why would you imprison me for no reason whatsoever? I guess this is how prisons work in this world. They just throw some random hobos in a cell just to meet the quota. This is where your tax money goes to. This right here. Tutorial text on the top. Okay. Oh, I can see my legs, nice. You can pick up stuff and throw it around like in System Shock 2. Swell, I like that.
Hey.
What?
Stranger, we have to get out of here.
My memory, it's gone. I remember nothing. Not even my own name. What did I come here to do?
The gobblers probably crept up on you from behind. Bloody gobblers. Come on, look around your cell. There has to be a way to get out on your side.
Now why would you assume that? All I have in my cell is a skull and a couple of mushrooms. The only place you can escape with the mushrooms is a cell inside your mind.
I'm sure I heard them whispering about it. And believe me, we have to get out of here. And quick.
I guess this is our exit.
Well done.
Oh, this is convenient. I'll just use the bone to bash his face in. Speaking of which, here's our first adversary. And guard! The melee combat in this game is quite straightforward, but also slow. You have to hold the mouse button to charge your attacks with those maximum damage. If you just spam click, your weapon will hit your enemy like a wet noodle. You can also change direction of your swing by pressing WASD before you charge your attack, though I didn't find any difference in damage between different swings. My guess is just cosmetic, but I could be wrong. Also, you can't block in this game for some reason. There are shields in the game, but they just give you stat bonuses, no actual blocking. We get our cellmate out of his literal cell and talk to him.
Thank you, Shigar. If you can't remember your name, you better keep this one. It means he who has no name in a foreign tongue.
So are we getting our inspiration from Dollar's trilogy or Odysseus?
Right. We shall discuss this later. Now let's get out of here.
I'm injured. I won't be able to get through this hole. I'll stay here and wait till you can open the door. Don't worry about me.
What? Are you serious? You want me to jump down this bottomless pit? Is that your escape plan? And you don't want to join me because you're injured? I feel like you just want to get rid of me. Well, no other option. Bullshit. Wow, I actually survived. I couldn't even see the bottom. It felt like a 10-meter drop. We have some herbs here. Some mice as well. I like mice. And here's where the game gets more interesting. On this corpse we find some armor for our legs and some magic stones. But as soon as we get magical powers from the stones, we get converted to Judaism. Well, with great power comes great responsibility, I guess. I'll have to consult my rabbi. Once we consume both of the stones, we're able to cast our first spell. The spell casting in this game works by drawing the spell runes on your screen with your mouse. Awesome! Great, a rat! Here you go, buddy, eat some bread. Okay, either the rat is keto friendly, or it was just contemplating whether to eat me or not. I hear frogs. I see frogs. And a waterfall with an underground river. Man, this is a nice looking cave. Didn't expect it from this game. A water lily. These are actually very useful. We have to remember to collect everyone we find for later. This game gets progressively better and better. Slowly it opens up more and shows us some really cool mechanics. For example, you can cook stuff in this game. And it's not a generic press the button for something to happen. You have to drag and drop the food next to the fire and wait for it to cook. I wish more games had this level of interaction. Well, as we continue exploring the caves, we'll kill some spiders, open a secret door, find the key for something, fix the elevator, and find more water lilies. Great! We have to collect all of them. As we continue down the path,
Me bring you back to cell now.
I'm not going back to prison. Hey, our cellmate actually came to help us.
You rot with worms.
Sugar, we got him. Just after you went through the hole, I heard a noise. So I hid and waited till the goblin came in. This time I got the drop on him, sneaky bastard.
Some flour. Yeah, flour. In a bag labeled XXX. That's definitely flour, not cocaine. Right. I can see why someone wanted this door locked and the key stashed behind a fake wall. This is probably a cartel safe house. Okay, well, we did come back to prison, but now I'm outside my literal cell. Here we fight some goblins, some more goblins, another big goblin. Then we find a goblin named Polsius who asks us for help. Sure, we're free to go. Find a big door that's closed. We'll come back here later. A torture chamber. Yeah, looks like they've had a lot of fun here. Fun's over! And another closed door. More goblins to kill. And more. And okay, that's enough. Key and some papers. The key opens the door in the torture chamber. We get some equipment and another game mechanic. We can repair our armor and weapons.
I cannot improve them any further.
We get up the stairs and find more goblins. Friendly ones even. I guess they didn't hear me bashing their friends to death. They won't let us through without signed pass and gem dealer license.
This not signed.
If we go back and go up the other staircase, we exit the prison. I'm surprised nothing's falling on my head already. It's like the third earthquake now. Or maybe they're just aftershocks. Whatever, let's go. That's a big cave. There seems to be a fortress or something in the distance. And for the first time, we actually hear some music. Let's talk about the soundtrack for a second, if you can even call it that. Here are all the tracks in the game, all 34 of them. Now you might think that 34 tracks for a game made in 2002 is more than enough. It would be, if the tracks weren't so damn short. More than half of them are less than half a minute, and some of them are just bland droning sounds that I bet I could have made with my own mouth. This is lame. There are only 4 fighting themes. They're only used for boss fights. Oh right, and you can probably tell nearly all of the tracks are loops. So if you thought that those droning sounds are lame, imagine hearing them on repeat. However, as bland as they are, they fit into the game quite well. They don't feel out of place, and they somewhat add to the atmosphere. Moreover, there are actually some really good ambient sounds in the game. Sure, they loop like the rest of them, but they're really pleasant to listen to. And there is one that stood out the most for me, the one you're hearing right now. This actually might be one of my most favorite ambient tracks. Yes, it loops, yes, it's short, but there is just something about it that I can't really explain. The first time I heard it, at this point in the game, I was mesmerized. Exiting out of that prison into an open cave, hearing that ambient track and seeing the outposts in the distance, I became hooked to the game. If at first it was just curiosity that drove me to explore the game, now it was desire to see every damn corner of the game. Anyway, let's get back to it. We have a bunch of dead bodies near the entrance, blood and body parts strewn around. Only one survivor who just tells us to talk to someone else. Okay, I'll just leave you to die here. Ooh, chickens and pigs! Chickens! I like pigs. No, stop, we have important things to do. We find the other survivor who's a lot more talkative and explains that they were attacked by the Ilsids.
The Ilsids?
2 hours ago, 3 of them infiltrated the outpost. They attacked without warning or provocation. The Ilsid have earned a reputation as fierce and unstoppable warriors, and now I've seen it with my own eyes. Their speed is unbelievable. In a flash, they disabled and dragged off 3 of my men. And you must have seen what they did to Karnak. I don't know why they did that, but I do know it would be long before they return.
Find someone else to help. I have my own problems to deal with.
Stop.
You are my...
You know how in most games when you receive a main quest, the game just forces you to accept it, and the player character says, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Doesn't matter if the quest is collect 5 mushrooms for the magical forest, or a suicide mission where you have to take out an entire enemy camp, all by yourself. It's like the protagonist just doesn't care about his own well-being. Well, Amshigar does. Just watch, this dialogue gets better.
You are my only hope. I cannot trust the rabble at the tavern. I'd sooner trust a total stranger.
Another good point. You've never seen him before. For all you know, he could be in cahoots with the Ilsids that slaughter your garrison. He asks us to send a message to the king, but the direct path to him is blocked because of the earthquakes.
This is ridiculous. You've just told me that the path leading to the castle is blocked.
You should be able to go through the Goblin's Cave 2 levels down, and find a way back up to this level. It's dangerous and roundabout, but we have no choice. If you find a way back up there, you should be back in the human kingdom once again.
Impossible. I've only just escaped from a goblin prison.
Again, he's got a point. The guard gives me a gem dealer license that might help me get through those goblin guards. See, the keyword is might. There is no guarantee that those goblins will let me through. They didn't recognize me as a prisoner, but what if someone else will? If someone recognizes me, that's it, I'm back at the prison, but this time they'll guard me more securely, or maybe they'll torture me, or straight up kill me. I'm risking my freedom and my life for someone I don't even know, and even if I manage to pass the inspection, I have no clue where I'm supposed to go next. He gave me absolutely no direction to the kingdom. Am I supposed to know where it is? Okay, he probably doesn't know that I've lost my memory, so I'll let that slide. And as you probably guessed, yes, the quest is mandatory. So even though I and Amshigar think this is all bullshit, we still have to go through with it. More water lilies. Remember, we have to collect all of them. Our strategist mentioned a tavern nearby. Turns out it's right opposite of the garrison. Why wasn't it attacked too? Our friendly goblin is here. Well, he did say that he was going here. We actually need him to forge his signature. Again, I don't think he thought this through. If Polsius wasn't here to forge his signature, no way I would be able to pass the inspection. I could bribe the guards, but again, that's a dice toss. Whatever, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
There. Your papers in order, friend.
Thanks. We can ask him why he was imprisoned. He tells us that the human prisoners were sold off to some priests to be sacrificed for someone or something named Agba, and Polsius thought that this was a bad idea. So he was put to prison for his heretical ideas.
Me not like Akbar.
The bartender here tells us nothing important, only that she doesn't recognize me.
If only things were different.
It shouldn't take the master long to reach his goal now.
Well, I don't think we really have much choice, you know?
I don't really like it when people rummage about in everywhere.
What are they talking about?
Password.
It's me. Open up.
Yeah, nice attempt. Upstairs we have a one-eyed
you look
dude who gives us a bit of a background on the world around us,
Take a load
but
off.
doesn't really say anything useful
I'm
that
at
could
no
help us in our
help
quests
now.
or in recovering our
This little
memory.
rat hole is my favorite
Well,
haunt.
thanks anyway.
If you ever want to find me, I'm usually here.
We have a scammer.
Stranger. My name is Rinko. You can win lots of gold with me. If you want to know the rules of the game, just read them. They're pinned up on this wall.
Yeah, I'll pass. Only place left to go is back to those goblins.
Halt, human! You enter Goblin Kingdom. Humans is not allowed, except gem dealers.
I'm a dealer. Here's my license.
Everything in order. You passing now.
Wow, it actually
But
worked.
careful. Human rebels is escaped from our prison not long ago. Only dealers allowed passing.
Yeah, rebels. Sure. Okay, anything else I need to know?
You not mess with us, human!
Amazing. Now, will it work? There's one.
Good, human.
And the other.
Okay, here we go.
Alright, I guess that guy wasn't totally crazy. I'll just hurry up, I don't want to stay here for too long. As we head out of the goblin prison area, we enter a large cave with some spiders and some loot. As we move on, we enter another cave which is even larger. There's a goblin outpost here, but they won't let me through even though I have all the papers. Says the trolls are on strike.
Non-human allowed. Trolls on strike. No gem trade today. You look bad.
Yeah, why don't you look in the mirror? The troll won't let me through to their fortress either.
No, friend. No, come in.
Water lilies. This is a big river. Or maybe it's a lake. As we go up these stairs, we enter a smaller cave system, inhabited by rats and spiders. And this disgusting thing. Eventually we find a way out and we get a cutscene. It's just two guys talking about receiving a message from mortals. Then the senior guy suggests sending a guardian. And yeah, that's it. Look, we made it to the city.
Welcome to Arx, sir. Go straight to the guard room and introduce yourself to Carlo.
Okay. Are you Carlo?
I have an urgent message for the king.
I am Carlo, captain of the guards. Our king, His Majesty Lunshire, is in the throne room. Go into the castle, through the double door of the room with columns in. The king should be there.
It's that easy? I can just walk up and talk to him?
The king is in the
I don't
throne
need to book an
room.
appointment. Convenient. We tell the king what happened at the outpost. He thanks us and gives us some money. Nice. And asks us to deliver a message to the Troll King, asking him to help clear the blocked path between the outpost and the city. I find it funny that he badmouths the trolls even though he needs their help.
They are just as ugly as goblins, but 5 times the size. But relations are excellent between our two kingdoms, just the same.
I don't think that the relations would be the same if he heard you say this. Whatever. We're free to explore the castle. There's a kitchen. Hey! A library. Jesus!
A new face. No doubt the king sent you to me for advice. As you can see, I look after the kingdom's library. What can I do for you?
I must give this message to the head troll.
The trolls are working in their minds, 2 levels down. You'll be able to spot the head troll pretty easily. He's the most ridiculous of all of them.
Thanks. There's a bunch of books here, with a bunch of background information on the world. 4,815 scales on every dragon. That's oddly specific. The castle also has an observatory.
I am the new astronomer. I was assistant to poor Fallon Orba Planix, and since his death, I do my best to look after the observatory.
What do the stars tell you?
The current astral configuration is fascinating.
Hold on, stop. I have to confess something. When I played this game, I was fascinated with how beautiful it is, by 2002 standards. And I was thinking, if the underground area is so pretty, I wonder how the surface looks like. I was really eager to see it, and after I looked through the telescope, I realized the surface is all frozen to hell. I completely forgot about the main plot point. The sun is gone. The intro addressed that. My cellmate told me about it, and the dude at the tavern too. And I still managed to forget about it. The game outshined the plot for me. Anyway, let's explore the city of Arx. We have a blacksmith, a general store that sells a keyring, which helps us save a lot of space, a gem dealer slash jeweler, a dude fishing in the river, bank, crypt, and a church. And a castle, of course. Not bad for an underground city. Let's skip forward a bit. When we bring the letter to the King of Trolls, he says that he would help us, but he needs something in return. Of course.
Since I escaped, I've spent all my time helping other people. But I have little choice in the matter, I suppose.
trolls had their totem stolen, and they refused to do anything without it, for humans or goblins, even though they have a sort of business relationship with goblins. Apparently, trolls mine gemstones, which they give to goblins who sell them and give a small portion of profits to trolls. Once they found out that their totem was stolen, they stopped working and boycotted the goblin foreman. If we tell the foreman about the totem, he suggests searching for it in the Goblin Kingdom and escorts us there.
Open gate! Let disgusting human in!
Oh, all right then.
You do quickliest!
If I could summarize the Goblin Kingdom in one word, it would be this. As for goblins themselves, opportunists. As we learned before, they sold off people to the priests for money, a lot of money. Now we're told that they are leeching off the trolls' labor. In many other games or movies, goblins are portrayed as just evil. Like that's their only trait. But in this game, their main characteristic is greed. They give me the impression that they don't give a damn about priests' religious practices or the victims' well-being, but they do care about stuffing their pockets full of gold. They're not bona fide evil, they just want to make money in any way possible. But let's get back to the game. This section of the game, which takes around an hour, surprisingly doesn't involve any combat. Well, only a little bit. The next hour of gameplay is mostly talking, solving puzzles, learning new game mechanics and cooking. Turns out you can actually make pies. You have to combine flour. You know, the one labeled XXX, with water to make bread dough. If you heat that up, it will turn into a bread. But that's lame. If you roll the dough with the rolling pin instead, it will turn into an uncooked pie. If you heat that up, it will turn into a pie. Which will taste just like bread, since we didn't add anything to the pie. But if you add apples to the uncooked pie and cook that, you'll get an apple pie. No sugar necessary. I guess one of the X's in the XXX flour stands for sugar. The other two must stand for salt and yeast, since there is no way the dough would rise like that without the yeast. Or salt. I'm getting sidetracked here. We have to find the troll totem. The quartermaster doesn't tell us anything, though our protagonist thinks he might be hiding something in the armory. The king doesn't open his throne room, instead he's sitting there stuffing himself full of apple pies. To convince him to talk to us, we need to add wine, which he's allergic to the pie dough that's being used by his chef. The chef feeds the king his pies, then the king shits his pants and runs to the bathroom. There, Amshigar persuades the king into allowing him to inspect the armory, and what do you know, the troll totem is there. And it turns out the quartermaster was behind it all. I really like his reasoning for his actions.
Me with the Goblin King, me would eat cakes all day, all night even.
You know, a lot of politicians are like that. He's a bit tougher than the other goblins, but we're still able to defeat him. Yeah! We give the Troll King his totem, he says some ooga booga stuff and the block tunnel becomes clear. Mission accomplished.
You true friend of trolls.
Now back to the...
Come to me. I need you. Give your life to me.
Sounds like I should give you toilet paper instead. Back in Arx. The king thanks us for the work, gives us a reward and...
Majesty, we have discovered signs that another ritual has taken place.
Ritual?
That's the third one in less than a week. Where this time?
Just by the air duct, your majesty. Do you think this could be connected with the Fallon Orbiplanix murder?
Probably. I'll get my new friend to look into it. I suggest you investigate this shady sect, who I am almost sure have executed Fallon Orbiplanix, our old astronomer. I need someone who is not known as an agent of the king, a fearless man. Will you serve me in this role?
I could certainly look into it.
I know you will not disappoint me. You will be free to question any of my people in your investigations. Guards, give this man free rein of the castle's private quarters. In addition, dear Amshigar, here is the key to one of my royal chambers. It is now yours.
Wow. Not only did he pay me for the work, but he also gave me an apartment in the castle for free. That's one generous king.
News of these disturbing events.
Yeah! Not bad. A bed and 2 chests where I can store my stuff. Chests are quite useful, considering the fact that there's a lot of stuff you can pick in this game, and the fact that I'm quite a hoarder when I play RPGs. I know, I just can't help it. There's also a backpack here. The first time I played the game, I couldn't figure out what to do with it. I placed it in my inventory, nothing. I tried to put stuff inside it, thought that it was like a portable storage. Nope. I tried to use it, nothing. Turns out you have to put it on your character. Adds more storage size to your inventory. I only figured it out hours after I saw it, at which point I was playing inventory Tetris. Okay, let's start investigating Fallon's death. The snake woman says that he might have found out who carried out the rituals, and they might have whacked him for that, and that his death has black magic written all over it. I don't know, I think he was just stabbed in the back. The alchemist, Felnor, pretty much has the same theory. Also, Fallon gave a note to Felnor with some sort of password that he couldn't figure out.
I never really understood what it meant. Maybe you will understand. Take a look around while I'm working.
Here we can make potions. Remember all those water lilies we've collected? If you ground them up with a mortar and pestle, put the mixture in an empty bottle and use it to distill, you get a life potion.
Real alchemist.
Those are very useful. There's a limited number of lilies in the game, and life potions bought through the vendors do not restock. Now there are other ways to heal yourself, but they're kind of slow, while the potion heals instantly. But, for now we should use the slow methods of healing, like casting a healing spell and eating food. Only use potion as a last resort, and save them for later. We will need them, but let's get back to our investigation.
Really,
Sweebers, the new astronomer, doesn't know anything, only tells us that he hates violence.
And on top of that, I hate violence.
Right. Inside Fallon's room we find a safe hidden behind that painting. We enter the password from the note that he gave to Felnor and find Felnor's diary. Then we get a cutscene. A 7.5 minute cutscene. I'm not complaining. This is a good quality cutscene, though it irks me that King asks these one-word questions each time something is being explained to everyone in the room.
I shall contact the Nodin to ask for their help.
The Nodin? They may have sent an emissary here to stop the coming of Akbar. An emissary?
I feel like there was a character in some old sitcom that was always doing this. Whatever, let's get back to the cutscene. We learn that one of the guards was behind the cult rituals, and we learn who Akbar is. Apparently he's some sort of devil god of destruction. The cult that worships him is trying to bring Akbar to Arx. If that happens, everyone in Arx is toast. Hell, the whole planet is probably going to be annihilated. Knowing all of this, Fallon contacted the Nodin for help. The Nodin is a sort of space police force that protects the cosmic equilibrium. I'm not making this up, it actually says so in one of the in-game books. The unnamed priest, who previously called me a heretic, speculates that if Fallon succeeded in relaying the message to the Nodin, then there is a chance that they may have already sent their guardian for help. The guardians have a superhuman strength and or have the ability to wield advanced magic. They act as a sort of enforcers for the Nodin. To banish Agba from Arx, the guardian needs to eliminate the energy channel which is used by Agba and his priests to incarnate Agba in Arx. The energy channel is some sort of meteorite that landed on Arx years ago. To destroy the meteorite, the guardian must touch it. Simple enough, right? Well, we have no clue who or where the guardian is, and we don't know the location of the meteorite. We do have a fragment of the meteorite, which might help us in our quest. The king tasks us with fighting the guardian and gives us the fragment. But as soon as we touch it...
Welcome, Guardian.
Plot twist!
Allow me
Turns out Amshigar is the guardian, and the Yoda-looking thing from the main menu is our master. He explained our mission to us and warned us that we might lose memory of this conversation. Once we're done with our quest, our master will bring us back home.
That means that Amshigar is...
the Guardian. It all makes sense to me now, and especially his constant desire to help others.
Yeah, desire.
Find someone else to help. I have my own problems to deal with.
Whatever. We have our mission, find the temple, destroy the meteor, get out. Let's get on with it.
May the wisdom of the Nodin guide you, Amshigar.
We should ask the guy who's performing the rituals for information. He begs for forgiveness and explains that the priest promised him that the rituals would bring his dead wife back to life.
Give me another good reason to spare your life, mortal.
Wow, simmer
I can
down.
help you. The entrance to their temple is through the metal door in the yellow tulip.
Why is the temple in the tavern?
Password. Fat Kapel.
Yeah! As we leave the castle, we see the king and one of the snake women having an argument. Something about the rebels and the king's missing daughter. Neither the king nor Chinash want to talk about it. Fine. Sort it out yourselves. I'm gonna go save the world.
Password.
Fat Kapel.
Who's Capel? And why is he fat? Whatever. That's one beefy looking guard. As soon as we enter the temple, we hear some menacing ambient music and get attacked by the priests. Okay, it's your funeral. They're not very tough, but they use magic. They might pose a threat if they group up on you, so it's best to fight them one at a time. We find the Agbah's rock. 2 rocks actually. Fight some priests. Find a non-hostile priest who apparently sacrificed his side to Agbah. He explains that Agbah will bring the sun back to Arx and everyone will be happy.
Agbah is our savior. May he be blessed. Through his good work, we shall once again live on the outside. Our children will at last see the sunshine, and we shall play in the newly grown grass.
Sure. To access the meteor, we need to deactivate the security system. After we do that, we go through a really gruesome looking passage. How many people did they sacrifice? Inside the room of the meteor, we meet our old friend, the astronomer who hates violence.
Must have had time to contact them. I should have seen to him sooner.
I hate violence.
He summons some shrimp-looking demon and runs away. We beat the hell out of it and save the girl who was nearly sacrificed to Agbah. We touch the meteor, and nothing happens. It just steals our mana. What the hell? Well, nothing left for me to do. I'm out of here. We get a cutscene where our pacifist kills the guard who gave us the intel about the temple.
Come, Urzag. You know full well that we must all do our bit for the cause with what feeble powers each of us possesses. But take comfort. Your martyr's sacrifice shall not be in vain.
I hate violence.
As we return to Arx, we report that we were unsuccessful in our quest. I like how Felnor straight up says, "Oh, it's probably because you were not wearing Krafos and Zohar, the 2 ancient artifacts that could have helped you in destroying the meteor. Instead of destroying it, you gave some of your own energy to Agbah, so now he is even stronger than before." Would it kill to say that beforehand? Why couldn't you give them to me earlier? I'm the one saving the world. We don't have the artifacts anymore. We had them on a loan from the Order of Durnium, street named Snake Woman. But from out of nowhere, a rebel faction appeared, killed the queen, stole the king's newborn daughter and one of the artifacts. Then the Order of Durnium asked us to give the artifacts back. We gave them the one we had, the other one we lost to the rebels, and we can't fight the rebels. And yeah, Sweetbeers is Iserbius, Alucard is Dracula backwards, Iserbius is in cahoots with Agbah, he was present during our meeting, so he knew about our plans, and he managed to kill the man who probably had more information on their code. You're all incompetent. You've even let some hooligan slaughter a chicken on my bed and paint a graffiti on the wall. Yuck. Off to find the rebels, wherever they are. In a cave system, 1 level below the Goblin and Troll Kingdom, we stumble upon the girl we saved earlier. We tell her our quest, she asks us to follow her, and then someone hits our head. We wake up in the rebel camp. Well, that was easy. The girl we saved turns out to be the leader of the rebels. She's willing to give up Krahos in exchange for the Shield of the Ancients, which is located in the city crypt. Okay, we got a deal. The rebel base is built on top of a swamp-like area. Remember, collect all the water lilies. Man, their base looks really nice. To be honest, the whole game looks nice. I know that these aren't next-gen, top-of-the-line graphics with fancy named effects and several tinted filters layered on top of each other. You know, the kind of stuff you would expect from the games nowadays. But for some reason, I find these old, low-resolution graphics more eye-pleasing. Maybe it's the color palette, or the lighting, or all those small details on some of the textures. Or maybe it's because I grew up playing all the games and I'm just used to seeing these graphics.
Don't worry, it's well guarded.
I don't know. I'm sure some of you are probably saying, "What the hell are you talking about? This graphics sucks, you're just a moron." I just... Okay, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's go back to the game. Before we go to the crypt, let's visit the Order of Eternium first. They have a very unique looking wall decorations, almost alien-like. They let us into their outpost. Nice snakes. We introduce ourselves to the snake woman in charge.
Unless you prefer your human name, Shikar. I am Zalnash, Mother Superior of the Order of Eternium.
I don't care what you call me.
Terrific introduction. She agrees to give us Zohark if we complete the trials in the Temple of Illusions, which is located right here. Convenient. It has some puzzles, optical illusion hallways, some spooky stuff. My kind of place. At the very end of the temple, we get Zohark. Yeah! Then we fight the snake woman statues that came to life. They're pretty weak. Then we get a cutscene where Akba tries to persuade us to join him. Nope, not gonna happen. Now onto the crypt. We need to get the key for the door.
Crypt. Would you open the door for me?
I will give you a key to the crypt. Be careful though. It's a very dangerous place.
He's not kidding. The reason why I went for the Zohark first is because the Temple of Illusion is more straightforward and less time consuming than the crypt. There was one tedious puzzle, but it doesn't compare to the crypt. Also, the temple was only one location, right in the same level as the Order of Eternium. Crypt, on the other hand, is divided into 5 levels, though the shield is located on the 3rd level. The first level has rats, spiders, and loot. The whole crypt is full of loot, really, though most of it is useless. Yeah, you can sell it for money, though money is kind of unnecessary in this game, since you can just find good equipment lying around if you look hard enough, and if it gets worn down you can just repair it yourself instead of paying the blacksmith. The only things that you really need to buy are potions, some magic stones and the keyring. Then again, you can also steal all that stuff if you're playing as a thief. There's only one quest where you need to pay several thousand coins. However, even that is unnecessary, since there is a second option for that quest. I guess the loot is there for the kleptomaniacs. Like me. The second level has zombies that are unkillable. They'll get up after playing possum for a few seconds. The only way to kill them is to put a wooden stake in their chest. I thought it was only for vampires. This level of the crypt is kinda spooky. It has some cheesy scares that you would expect from a horror game, but I don't mind it. Overall, I like the atmosphere of this level. What I don't like is this damn fog. You can't see 6 meters in front of you. Why did the developers put such a thick fog here? This isn't a PlayStation game, this is a PC exclusive. It was ported to Xbox a year later, but still. We eventually make it to level 3. Here we have mummies, who can freeze us in place, though they're only slightly stronger than the regular zombies. More loot. Lava. Or at least I think it's lava. I don't know why it's here or why it's not burning through the rock. If we go a little further, we stumble upon stairs that lead to the 4th level of the crypt, but we don't need to go there. We came here for the shield and it's right here. Suddenly, we hear a voice. It tells us that the shield is just behind this door. Looks more like a portcullis to me.
Why should I trust you?
Traveler, know this. Ghosts do not lie. We can refuse to speak, but with every word that passes our lips, we speak the truth.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Well, I await your riddle.
To get the shield, we must solve his puzzle.
Do you think yourself worthy of it? It is an object of great power, and only a being of superior intelligence can take it from me.
I guess I don't have superior intelligence. I couldn't figure this puzzle out. I just looked up the solution online. Maybe I could have solved it after a long time, but I just didn't want to spend a lot of time on one puzzle that didn't make any sense to me. By the way, you need to find 6 carved stones that are hidden across the 3 levels of the crypt to solve this puzzle. Some of them you can find easily. Others you might not find at all on your own, and you resort to looking up their location online. We solve his stupid riddle, we get the shield, which is actually equipable. It provides great stats too. Now let's get the hell out of here. Ooh. Spooky. Whatever. As soon as we try to exit this room, we get a surprise boss fight. The Lich. He puts up quite a fight. He casts all sorts of spells against us, and his melee attacks are strong too. On top of that, he has a lot of health, but he eventually goes down. It took me about 4.5 minutes. Wait, what? No, hold on. Let's do that again. On my second try it took me 3 minutes. Third time it only took me 1 minute and 40 seconds. What the hell is going on? What is this? You're probably confused, and I am too. Let me explain. This Lich is a bitch. This Lich is a total fucking bitch. The footage you've seen is from my second playthrough. I didn't record the game when I played it for the first time, though I wish I did, because on my first playthrough, this Lich kicked my ass. He killed me so many times. I died over and over again. He has a lot of spells at his disposal. He summons zombies, casts lightning, casts a field of poison, casts a field that hurts us if we get too close to him, freezes us in place, slows us down, and he can go invisible. He might regenerate health too, because there is no way he would be alive without regeneration with how many times I've sliced him with my sword. And if you think that I'm just incompetent and full of shit, look at this. I'll make it so that you can see my health and mana more easily. I was fighting him like usual when he casted the curse spell on me. Suddenly, my health and mana are full. Then, a moment later, I'm almost dead and I have no mana left. I thought that this was just a visual glitch, but I tried to cast a fireball spell which doesn't require a lot of mana, but I couldn't. I didn't have enough mana. This isn't a visual glitch, he actually drained almost all of my mana and health. If he punches me or hits me with his lightning spell, he'll instantly kill me. Is this fair? Absolutely not! Last time I've seen something like that was in Titan Quest when I was fighting the last boss. See, this type of crap can be expected when fighting a last boss. But this Lich isn't the last boss, this is the middle of the game, so why should he have such a privilege? What still shocks me is the fact that I actually managed to beat him. I had mostly the same equipment and stats as in my first playthrough, and I had the same strategy as the last time. I was doing the exact same thing. Since the time of my first playthrough, the developers of Arx Libertatis have updated the game, so I thought that maybe they did something to the difficulty, or maybe buffed the player's weapons. I checked the update log. Nope, nothing. So why was I able to kill him now but unable to kill him on my first playthrough? Well, I did kill him actually, but... Here, let me show you what happened. I think at that point that was my 15th or 20th time trying to kill him. I thought that maybe this wasn't the best place to fight him. It's all open, barely any cover. I decided to run towards the room where I got the shield, thinking that the pillars would maybe give me an advantage. So I got to the room and prepared myself. What was that? What happened? He's dead? He's burning? Was his hitbox so big that it clipped through the ground and touched the lava which instantly killed him? I see no other explanation. Quite the anticlimactic end to the fight. Whatever. He's dead, I'm alive, I got the shield, let's go. We give the shield to the rebel leader and we get a twist. Turns out she's the king's long-lost daughter. Apparently, the rebels found her next to her dead mother and that they're not the ones who killed her. They kidnapped the princess because they have information that the snake woman wants to kill the princess for unknown reasons. Where's my artifact?
I will honor my word, of course, and instruct the guards to let you into the dungeon where we keep Krauhaus.
Ah, okay.
Use it well.
We entered the dungeon. Really cool ambient music here. The dungeon looks like it's a castle that's buried under sand or mud. Overall, it's pretty cool looking. I like all these small details. We take our well-deserved artifact and on we go back to the Temple of Agba. Next stop, the meteor. Well, we killed all the priests here previously, so it should be easy, right? Wrong. You see, priests didn't respawn. Enemies don't respawn in this game. What we have here instead is a different type of enemy. The Elsids. You know, those guys that slaughtered the fully guarded outpost next to the tavern? Twice? Yeah, those guys. Notice I said guys. Plural. That's right. The bold bastard that just killed me isn't alone here. Oh no. There's at least 3 of them here, maybe 4. But honestly, 1 was enough. Enough to drive me mad! I have no clue how many times he killed me. I tried fighting him head on, tried to cast spells from a distance, I fought him with spells and melee combined, tried to use different equipment, nothing worked. I eventually gave up and dropped the game. I only returned a month later, and somehow I emerged victorious. Honestly, I have no clue what happened or how I succeeded. I didn't record my first playthrough, and I think my brain just erased that memory as a safety mechanism, but I do remember that I tried to figure out what went wrong. I searched for information online, maybe I've missed something. I've stumbled upon an old forum post where one user was complaining about the Elsids being too strong and asking for advice on how to kill them. Another user responded, saying that the Elsids die easily to fireball spells, 2 should be enough. I was kind of disappointed by this answer since I tried that. I told you that I used magic against them and it didn't work. Only later did I realize that I've made a mistake. I didn't make a mistake when I was fighting the Elsids, I made it before the game even began. Let's talk about the character creation system. Yeah, you probably thought I forgot about it. This system sucks. I have 4 attributes and 9 skills. I can put 16 points in my attributes and 18 points in my skills. Increasing the attributes also increases some skills. For example, strength increases melee and object knowledge. Mental increases spellcasting and ethereal link, etc. Also, the attributes have effect on your stats. On top of that, some skills increase stats. It is pretty straightforward, plus I have plenty of skills and attribute points to spare, so what's the problem? The problem is, I don't know what to spend them on. I usually play as a melee fighter in these types of games, up close and personal, so obviously I'm going to put points into strength and close combat to dish out more damage. But what about mental? Obviously there's going to be magic in this game, and I could use a healing spell, just in case I run out of healing potions. Mental increases intuition. It helps you detect hidden objects, and improves your nose for trading. Is trading really important here? Why have trouble getting money? What about hidden objects? What the hell is an ethereal link? Warns me about nearby enemies. Is this helpful? Increases mana regen. Will that be useful? Dexterity increases stealth and ranged attack. I don't like sneaking to be honest, but what if there's a mandatory stealth section in the game that will bite me in the ass later on? What about ranged weapons? Are they a viable option in combat? Constitution is the only attribute that increases defense, the skill that helps blocking with the shield. Constitution is also the only attribute that increases health, obviously useful. You might say, just go for the melee fighter route like you always do, what are you complaining about? The thing is, I'm going in blind. I haven't seen or heard about the game before, I've only seen screenshots and read some reviews in Steam that have recommended the game, and I don't want to spoil my experience. I have to guess which skills are useful and what type of character will be able to survive out there. You know, a good game will give you the opportunity to play the game for a bit, bash some enemies, try some weapons, see the environments, give you a sense of what to expect before giving you skills, abilities, and the opportunity to let you choose what type of character to create. Or maybe have a tutorial level, where you can see the game mechanics, use some weapons, give you the ability to use skills or magic, even the most basic ones. So that when you have to make a choice later, you have an idea of what path to take. Arx Fatalis makes you choose your skills and attributes first, then it gives you a basic in-game tutorial and only later shows you all the game mechanics, abilities and magic spells. Quite the unorthodox game design, right? Not really, there are a number of games that do this, and their sequels continue with that trend. Create your character, beat the in-game tutorial, play for a while, get your ass kicked later for making a horrible character and choosing your skills incorrectly.
You have died.
No shit. Of course, some games let you change the difficulty, so if you think that the game is a bit too challenging or you screwed up somewhere, you can lower the difficulty. Arx Fatalis has none of that. So let's go back to this damn Elsid. What should I do? Some might suggest creating a new character, but this isn't the beginning of the game, this is at least 10 hours in, maybe more. I don't want to go through all of this again. However, even if this was the beginning of the game, restarting still ruins the immersion and the first impression of the game. How about farming XP by killing enemies elsewhere? A good idea really, but enemies don't respawn in this game, which is actually a good thing, but not in this situation. There are areas where new, completely different enemies spawn after you get rid of the old ones, but their numbers won't be enough to level you up later in the game, since the amount of XP you need to reach a new level rises astronomically. What about side quests? Only helpful on lower levels, since they don't give that much XP, and there's only 7 side quests in the game, and one of them you won't even find unless you use a walkthrough. And that's the quest that gives the largest amount of XP you can get in the game, 20,000. What the hell? I really liked the game at first. I enjoyed my experience, even after going through all the trouble with the Lich. I just thought, well, stuff like this happens. I've seen this in other games. Or maybe something's wrong with me, not the game. But after seeing this difficulty spike, different games have different levels of difficulty. Some are easy in the beginning and only become hard in the late game. Others are very difficult in the beginning, but become trivial as time goes on. Some have difficulty spikes. Some games are more spiky than others. But what about this game? What in tarnation is this? Why would they do this? This game had a fantastic atmosphere, beautiful environments, interesting plot, all the small details that made the world feel alive and not plastic. The type of things that immerse you in the game. You know what breaks immersion? Getting killed over and over again, that's what! I thought that creating a jack-of-all-trades character would be a good idea, and it was. Until the Lich and Ilsids roasted my turkey. I paid for my good idea with my sanity and nerve cells. The right choice all along was to go for a full melee or a mage character. Except that's contradicted by the game's manual that says, try not to distribute the points unevenly. A strong, but completely brain-dead hero is as much use as a genius who can cast even the most complex spells from memory, but is hardly strong enough to pick up his food. Try not to distribute the points unevenly. Who the fuck came up with this stupid horse shit? Was it you? Or you? I did what the manual expected me to do, and in the end I got my ass kicked for a reason I could not understand. I was confused! I felt the same type of confusion that you would feel if you were in a toxic relationship and you tried to figure out what was wrong only for it to go even worse. I had enough of that bullshit in high school! Okay, I'm sorry. I need to take a break. I'll be back in a minute, just don't go anywhere.
Their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. And if thy foot offended, cut it off.
Are you hungry?
Enter halt into life, then having
Want to have a quick snack, or maybe even a full course meal? Have little time, or maybe too lazy? No food in the fridge? Or you lack even the most basic skills of cooking? Don't worry, for we have a solution. Sassy Food can fill you up. We have a big menu, a wide variety of delicious dishes. Our kitchen is always clean and sanitary, and our equipment is state-of-the-art. Our staff is always polite, friendly, and efficient, and they're always working as a team. We service anyone. Want to come visit with friends, loved ones, pets, children, whatever? Step right in. Endorsed by Michelin star chefs. Come visit Sassy Food. We're waiting for you.
Alright, I'm back. I'm feeling better now. Let's just go back to where we left off. I don't remember how I beat the Ilsids in my first playthrough, and I don't have the footage, but I do have the footage of my second playthrough. After many failed attempts, I got lucky. Kind of. I was striking him and backing away at the same time. He was pushing me further and further away from the temple, when suddenly I got in range of a level transition area, and it threw me back into the tavern. Instead of reloading a save, I just got back into the temple and tried to fight him again. He nearly kills me, then runs away for some reason, and forgets that I ever existed. I hit him with a fireball. He charges at me, but doesn't retaliate. I think I busted him. I put him out of his misery, he starts glowing, laughing, and then he explodes. Yeah, I think he's defective. Either that or his medieval power armor has a self-destruct mechanism, like the nanosuit from Crysis, that incinerates itself when the user is dead. I tried this tactic with another Ilsid, but it doesn't work. However, I somehow managed to beat him without utilizing this exploit. And another one broke on his own. I didn't leave the temple, I just went back a bit after fighting him for a while, and when I came back he wouldn't retaliate. The meteor is guarded by a single priest. He dies after 2 hits. We put on Krachos and Zohar can destroy the meteor by touching it. We take what's left of it as a souvenir and go tell the news to our friends. As soon as we leave the temple, Akba sends us a Skype call. He threatens us and says that destroying the meteor doesn't stop him from incarnating on Arx. Yeah, right. We arrive in Arx, and it turns out it's under attack by the Ilsids, and the king is locked away in prison.
Invaded the fortress, and Lord Lunshire has been locked up in prison. Save him!
It's even worse this time.
Save the...
There's at least 3, maybe 5 Ilsids in the city. They're patrolling the streets, and since this is a wide open area, much more open than the temple we just left, there's a big chance that the other Ilsids may spot us fighting one of their brethren. Fighting one of them is a pain in the ass. Fighting a group is out of the question. So I tried something different. What if I use invisibility potions and sneak around them? Does that work? Yes. Though they only work for a limited time, and sometimes they can still hear you or sense you that you're close. I make a mad dash to the castle, and inside there's more Ilsids. Oh joy! Yeah, what a great fucking enemy placement! Let him block the path! I just need to get the king out of the prison. Oh, thank God for these hidden walls. Ah shit, leave me alone! I'm so close! Yes! No! What? It's our friend from the prison.
As soon as I found out their plan, I knew I couldn't let them do it, my friend.
Thank you, but where's the king?
Iserbius doesn't give a shit about the king.
Language!
If the king is alive, he's in hiding.
Turns out they attacked the city just to get a drop on me here. All the citizens are alive, just so that they can feed them to Agba later. Our friend escapes the city via the sewers and leaves behind the present, the Ilsid armor. My power armor now. Iserbius screams some threats, whatever. We go to the sewers and Iserbius retreats.
The Guardian has escaped! Leave this pathetic kingdom to the humans and return to our refuge immediately!
Mission accomplished. The king thanks us, we tell him that the meteor is destroyed, but Felnar says that at this point Agba can't be stopped from incarnating in Arx. Now we need to defeat him in single combat, but to do that, we need the ultimate weapon, which doesn't even exist. Instead of searching for it, we need to craft it. Thankfully, someone wrote the book on the topic. To create the ultimate weapon, we need to use the best metal available, which is mithril, which is extremely hard to find, borderline impossible. If you mix up the mithril with some magical element to create an alloy, it will further strengthen the weapon. The weapon must be crafted by the best blacksmith. According to the author of the book, the dwarves are the best blacksmiths, of course. Then, the weapon must be enchanted with an item with magical properties, then have an enchantment spell cast on it. One of the enchantment items is a dragon's egg, which lets the weapon damage the element it is made of. So if we mix up the mithril with the powder from the meteorite that we picked up, then enchanted the weapon made from the alloy with the dragon's egg, it would do extra damage to Agba. Well, we have our list of groceries, so let's get on with it. First, we have to find the dwarves. The local blacksmith says that they live somewhere deep below, and no one saw them for a while, even though they were on friendly terms with humans. The Dwarven Kingdom is located below the Order of Edurnium and the Mushroom Forest, aka Ratman Kingdom, though it's more of a village in my opinion. All the Ratmen here are hostile. They all have poison weapons and they can go invisible, but at this point in the game they're all wimps. They're nothing compared to the Lich and the Elsids. After slaughtering all the Ratmen, we get a boss fight, the Giant Worm. This might be the weakest boss I've ever seen. I think that even without the current equipment I would still defeat him easily. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'd rather fight him than the freaking Lich again. Past the worm lies the passage to the lava caves. That's a lava lake. Yup. The dwarves reside here. Unfortunately, they're not very helpful, so we have to do everything ourselves. Again. They do let us use their forge though, but still. First we find a big chunk of mithril, then teleport it to the forge, mix the ore with the meteor powder, make an ingot, then make a sword. Cool. Now for the dragon egg. Where do we find it? Well, remember that big door in the Goblin Kingdom? I told you we would come back here. Yeah, you probably forgot. Beyond the door is another dimension. A cave. With a big waterfall. A water lily. Remember, we have to collect all. A friendly troll named Gru lives here. He gives us a side quest where you have to find him a birthday present. But we're not here for that. We're here for the dragon. To get to the dragon's lair, we have to cast a levitation spell and fly over to that ledge, since it's impossible to get there on foot. Hold on, stop. How the fuck were you supposed to figure that out? I thought that the dragon might be living deep underground, maybe close to the dwarven area, or maybe near the lower levels of the crypt. You know, the most sensible location for a dragon's nest, since it's far away from those who might disturb it. I've scouted every corner of the game, talked to every NPC, there is no hint of the dragon's whereabouts. I mean, yeah, if you look at the manual, it lists most of the enemies you encounter in the game, including the Ice Dragon. And if you put 2 and 2 together, you should realize that the Ice Dragon lives somewhere close to the surface, since it's all frozen to hell. But come on! One simple voice line from any NPC, like Gru for example, would be helpful.
Oh, be careful, friend Amshigar. I hear spooky sounds coming from the cave above.
You might be wondering how I found out where the dragon is located. I just looked up a walkthrough. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Whatever. The Ice Dragon lives in the ice caves. Pretty cool looking spot. And there's our dragon. And for some reason my game decided to pull a prank on me and made it so I couldn't have a conversation with the dragon. Fantastic. It should have went like this. Amshigar tries to explain what he wants but is interrupted by the dragon, who somehow knows that he's a guardian and knows about his quest. The dragon is willing to give one of the eggs for gold coins, equal to the amount of scales on the dragon's body. Yeah, I've read the book. Here we go.
This sum is correct, Guardian. Take this egg, and may the wisdom of dragons guide your sword.
I'm still unsure what caused this glitch. Well, at least the whole quest didn't break.
Aren't you cold?
No, it's cool. I'm hot. We smeared the egg on our sword?
Well,
I'm not sure what he does, really.
Here's something.
Then we enchant our sword with a spell and... done. Now we can kick Agba's ass. But first, we have to find his hideout. And again, no one tells you where to find it. Though it's not that hidden. It's actually not far from the rebel base.
Shigar, I've been thinking.
Okay, no, stop.
Perhaps you are...
This game has 2 ending sequences. The second sequence is played after you kill the last boss. The first one is played before you enter the Illicid bunker, their hideout. While the second sequence is always the same, regardless of what you do in the game, the first one depends on certain actions that you've made while playing the game. I could show it to you, but it's kind of insignificant. I guess it should have led up to a sequel, but there was no sequel. Things didn't go as planned. Anyway, the bunker is protected by a couple of Ilcids and priests outside. The priests snap like twigs and the Ilcids aren't as tough as before, mostly because they have the best armor and the best swords in the game. And because their AI breaks sometimes. I'm still unsure what's causing it. One of the rooms in the bunker has a big door, which can't be opened by any key. Instead, you must place the Agbas rocks in these slots to open the door. But unfortunately, I only have 4 of them. I'm missing one. I checked the bunker, my room, the temple, I went through my footage. Nothing. My guess is I just tossed it somewhere temporarily since my inventory is full, thinking that I would come back to pick it up later. But I don't remember where I left it. So now I can't open this damn door, meaning that I can't finish the game. Which brings me to another point. How was I supposed to know that I need them? Obviously they are a quest item since you can't sell them, but you can sure toss them somewhere and forget about them. Besides, while they are a quest item, they don't even look so important. They look like some desk ornament, like a lava lamp or one of those salt lamps, a trophy or just a regular lamp, or maybe some weird alien sex toy, I have no idea. I don't think that there is a note that explains what they do either. Moreover, they are spread across 2 different locations. Why? If this is for the security reasons, wouldn't it be a pain in the ass to travel to the temple to pick up the stones just so that you can open this damn door? I can't get through legitimately, but I can, with cheats, which you have to write like the magic spells. Inside this big room is a Cerberus who grew a tentacle. Wait, how did he get here? If those stones were scattered in the temple before and I picked them up, there's no way that he could have entered this room. There is no other door here. Did he teleport here? Does he have some sort of special key or... No. Enough. He's here, we have the sword, we're going to kill him. We're gonna have some seafood tonight.
Come here seconds too late. Now I can face you in combat, Guardian. I shall never return to the building.
But you, on the other hand, are about to return.
He grew even more tentacles. And then he does this. Casts a field that hurts me and sucks me towards him. Takes a few seconds to kill me. This is one of those bullshit spells that I absolutely hate to see in a video game, but he is the final boss, so I'll cut him some slack. He also summons the flying shrimp demon and casts lightning. After killing me a few times, I got him stuck in this pillar. I think that's the best way to kill him, since the head-on approach just doesn't work. I whacked him a few times with my sword, then cast some fireball and magic missile spells, then finished him off with the sword.
No! How did you? No!
Yeah, bye-bye.
What have you done? Akba may have been evil, but he was the only one who could bring the sun back to Arx.
You know, at first I was confused by his words. I thought that he was genuinely stupid and just fell for Akba's promises of restoring the sun, if he even promised that. I've never heard Akba say anything about the sun. He only talked about ruling the world and complained about his pathetic followers. I thought that the Cerberus was just a very gullible moron that followed Akba and sacrificed maybe hundreds of people and maybe other creatures, believing that an ancient devil god thing that causes destruction would be even remotely interested in helping anyone. But now that I think about it, maybe Cerberus is just trying to weasel out of his punishment. Like, oh yes, he's evil, I know, but I was trying to do what's best for everyone. It was necessary to bring— Shut up! He knew exactly what he was doing, and he had no remorse for his actions. You could tell it from his diary, his notes, his words, his actions. He didn't care about the sun and the people of Arx. If he cared, he wouldn't sacrifice them, and he absolutely wouldn't talk like that to the people being sacrificed.
As for the two of us, my sweet, we shall continue this ceremony later.
At best he would say, I'm sorry, but this is necessary, I don't want to do this. Oh no! He took pleasure in this. It's even backed up by Kultar. He said that they didn't kill the people of Arx, so that Akba will be able to consume them later, once he's incarnated. What's the point in restoring the sun if everyone's going to be eaten alive? I think that both Cerberus and Akba are full of shit. But you know who's the most stupid in this situation? People like this guy.
Akba is our savior. May he be blessed. Through his good work, we shall once again live on the outside. Our children will at last see the sunshine, and we shall play in the newly grown grass. It shames the nation that most of them don't believe in Akba. I understand that people find the human sacrifices a bit scary, but it is the only way to salvation.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong on so many levels, but at least you're not gleeful about it, unlike his Cerberus. The more I think about it, the more I feel like the cult of Akba perfectly resembles some of the real-life cults, especially the ones that did something really nasty. Most of them have the same structure, some sort of god or demon, deity or just a belief, a high priest who may be a de facto leader, his or her entourage, people doing important tasks that are not to be trusted with regular members, possibly hitmen if necessary, regular members, business associates. Now of course this is just a basic rundown of their hierarchy. The cults have a more complex structure, but you get the idea. When the cult does something stupid and/or catastrophic, it is usually orchestrated by the person in charge, so when the authorities start investigating the incident, their main target for questioning is the leader of the cult, unless he's dead for some reason. In this case, they question the leader's closest followers and everyone who's connected to the cult, unless they're dead. But if the leader and other spirits are alive and well, the authorities question the leader and his aide, and the culprits behind the wrongdoing, and then either incarcerate them or outright kill them. So, with the leaders out of the picture, you would think that things would go back to normal, right? Wrong. While the authorities might be satisfied with putting the leaders behind bars, or on the gallows, it doesn't mean that everyone is pleased, oh no. Most of the people will want to tear apart anyone involved with the cult. They'll be out for blood. Even the people that were not harmed by the cult might join the angry mob. Why? Because they can! Who would pass up the opportunity of acting violent against a certain group without legal repercussion and with support from the majority of the population? By the way, while the authorities might stop paying attention to the cult after getting rid of the cult leaders and shift their attention to more important things, such as increasing taxes or offshore money laundering, some members of the police force may act on their own accord and try to arrest a cult member. They may try to harass or provoke their victim into attacking them, or make it look like the victim attacked them, when in reality that's the opposite of what happened. Or they can just simply arrest them and come up with a charge later. Depending on the region, things can happen differently, but in this case, where the victim was a part of a violent cult, they're going to jail. But if someone has proof of their innocence and is willing to defend them, then they may be acquitted of their charges. But that's not a guarantee. Again, all depending on the region.
有罪率は 99.8% だから、絶対にこれはもう弱いっていうのはそこですね。起訴されたらもう終わりと言ってもいいですね。そうすると彼の場合は起訴されると前の事件があるから今度執行猶予を取り消されると。ところが権力の力の方がうんと上回ってるもんだからめちゃくちゃやってた。
Now you might think that the mob of angry people are douchebags and the police force are bullies, but they're not the worst actually. Oh no, that would be the media. The media is a massive pain in the ass for everyone involved. Why? Because they don't care what they're covering or how they're covering it, as long as it gets enough attention or brings enough views on television or internet. Money is what they care about, not truth or someone's feelings. They will twist words and take things out of context, and they've done it for ages too.
これはやめてほしくて、立ち退き求めてないんだから、俺なんか昨日デモでは、あくまでも。これは結局その報道のこういう風になっちゃうんだよね。だからこれをやっぱりオウムの方が見ればね、やっぱりそういう意味でやったのかってなっちゃうけどね、国民はね、どうも報道がおかしいってみんな分かってますよ。たださっきもね、萩原さんが言ったようにね、言えないんですよ。それ言うとなんだあいつはと。
But even worse, people will believe them, and it will further fuel their hatred and may inspire others to act against a specific group. That group could become the scapegoat for all the problems, even if the authorities take action against the media group so that they will stop covering the subject. That may not work and it can actually backfire due to guaranteed freedom of speech and media in the country. If the media group counters the action taken by the government and makes it public, the civilian population may see the government as tyrants who try to silence the quote-unquote voice of reason. Or they may think that the government is in cahoots with the cult. The media is the gift that keeps on giving. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, if you're a member of any cult, or someone who contemplates joining one, I'm just warning you of the consequences of the cult leader suddenly losing his mind and deciding to attack the society. Whether you're a senior member or an initiate, guilty or innocent, the society won't care as they'll be out for blood. And if you're a PR manager, your life is going to be hell, as the media will relentlessly bombard you with interview requests, tabloid lies, and paparazzi. You also get some death threats here and there too. Really, everyone in the cult will be affected. Worst case scenario, you'll be thrown in jail, or you'll get torn apart by an angry mob. Best case scenario, you leave the cult behind and start a new life elsewhere, or you move with the cult to a different community who accept you, or at least tolerate your existence. However, even then most of the people will look at you with distrust, but with time they will mellow out. Though you should be careful with whatever rituals you're performing. Don't show them to others, or they'll think that you're weird. Just keep it to yourself. Okay, let's get back to the ending.
Done. Akba may have been evil, but he was the only one who could bring the sun back to Arx.
Akba should not have tried to manifest in this dimension. He knows the rules.
Rules which you too must follow, Guardian.
Oh, a twist!
The rules are set in stone and cannot be broken, Guardian. You were sent by the Nodin and must return there the moment your mission has been completed.
Yeah, time to go home. No time to say goodbye to your friends or give them back their precious artifacts.
And Arx's son, was his Serbius telling the truth?
Of course not.
Do not worry about this phenomenon. Quite simply, it is not within the Nodin's power. Also, things may not be as you have perceived them. I know you have been through powerful experiences here, but the power you have acquired makes you too dangerous for this world. The consequence of your staying here any longer could be disastrous, and I have many other missions for you. Allow me to bring you back within our fold.
Very good, Master.
Yeah, many other missions. There was no sequel. This game is all you get. The developers planned to make one, but everything fell through. And look, the sun isn't gone. It's just hidden by space dust. So the people made it seem like the sun was totally gone. Maybe their astronomers were incompetent. Well, one of them was. And that's it for Arx Fatalis. Man, what a game. It made a strong impression on me. So strong that I had to make this review, nearly 4 years after I played it. You might say, so what? Many other people made reviews on games years or even decades after playing them. Well, if you played Dwarf Fortress, you probably know that sometimes dwarves may develop a strange mood, where they don't sleep or eat and lose their mind slowly until they make some sort of artifact. That's pretty much what happened to me here, except I didn't stop eating or sleeping, but I sure thought that I was progressively losing my sanity. This game was trying to take over my mind, but now I'm free at last. I think. We'll see in a couple of weeks. I've played hundreds of games, and this one stood out from them. While Arx Fatalis is hardly unique on paper, you know, a fantasy RPG about a hero sent by the gods to stop the great evil, set in a medieval world that has warriors, fantasy creatures and magic, it sounds like another generic fantasy game, but once you play it, you realize that there aren't many games that are similar to this one. Sure, many people like to compare it to Morrowind, which was released the same year as Arx Fatalis, but I honestly think that they're very different from one another. There's also Ultima Underworld, which is a spiritual predecessor to Arx Fatalis, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't really say anything about it. This game feels like it was made with love and passion. All the different game mechanics that have more interaction than other games. Every location in the game feels different and they don't repeat each other. The unique spellcasting system with a wide variety of different spells. All the small details in architecture and textures, whereas in most games you would have bland grey walls. The sound direction, the ambience. There is much to like about this game, though it's not without flaws. Some decisions made by the developers leave me wondering what was going on in their head. Like this, just look at this. I gave one of those magical rings to Alia, and then this happens.
Thank you for doing this for us, Shigar. You know, I've come to value your counsel greatly. Please, stay here with me a moment. Where are you going, Shigar? Are you unhappy with me? I know how important your quest is, but I'm going to make sure you stay here with me. Forever.
Uh-huh.
Where are you going, Shigar? Are you unhappy with me? I know how important your quest is, but go, Shigar, and please, take good care of yourself.
What the hell was that? That wasn't an Easter egg, this wasn't hidden or anything. I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Was this just a gotcha moment where they tried to spook the player? Did Shigar had a bad dream or... I don't know. Maybe it was an unfinished quest or a plot point. Or look at this. Look at their masks and equipment. This is some sci-fi shit right here, but we see it only once. And the devs never expanded on this. You know, at times it felt like the game was actually unfinished, and the devs wanted to put more content into the game. I first had this thought when I was in the tavern. Just listen to this ambience. The different instruments playing in the background, voices, just commotion in general. Feels like the tavern is chock full of people, but in reality, there can only be 8 people at most and 3 people at minimum, depending on your actions or the stage of the game. Maybe the developers intended to have more NPCs in the tavern, but couldn't due to time constraints or performance issues. Or maybe everything is just as it was intended, and I'm just reading too much into it.
You should talk to Carlo if you want to apply for a job.
One of the things that irritated me was the lack of direction in this game. Now I'm someone who actually dislikes the hand holding in games, but here, I think the devs took it a bit too far. The prime example is the search for the dragon's egg. Like I said before, the game didn't provide any hints for the dragon's location, which would have been really useful. And the biggest flaw of this game is the sudden spike in the difficulty. I'm still unsure why the developers thought that this was a good idea. I usually blame myself in these situations, but here I'm adamant that I've done nothing wrong. Seriously, more than half of the game had the same level of difficulty. That ended when I encountered the Lich. The fucking Lich, Jesus Christ. I know that in reality the Yosits were more annoying and difficult than him, and they were the ones that caused me to stop playing the game for a while. The Lich was a rude awakening for me. I can only compare it to you walking happily through a giant field of flowers, admiring the view, when suddenly, from out of nowhere, you get hit by a truck, who then reverses and runs over your body while you're still on the ground. He then drives forward, and then back, and he does that to you a few more times, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then the driver gets out of the truck and smashes your broken and mangled body with a shovel, just for good measure. The Lich was the first thing that broke my immersion in this game, and I think he gave me PTSD, since every time I see a Lich in other video games, I cringe and feel angry for no reason whatsoever. I hope that's not permanent.
Me? Drunk? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I guess I should probably wrap this up. Let's give this game a rating. Unlike most people, I don't like giving games a numerical rating on a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. I just ask myself a question after finishing a game: was it a good game? And then I answer this question with either a yes or a no. I know it's kind of primitive, but that's the way I like to do it. So, is this a good game? Well, despite the flaws and drawbacks, I think that Arx Fatalis is a good game. Yeah, good. I think that if you're a fan of fantasy RPGs, then you should definitely try out this game. Now the game might not be as interesting to you since I showed you the bulk of the game, but hey, I didn't spoil everything. There is still plenty of things for you to discover. By the way, I suggest checking out the Arx Insanity mod. It's supposed to be a massive overhaul of the game with improved graphics and gameplay. As I'm writing this, it's still unfinished. There's an early access version available to download on the mod's ModDB page. I'll include the link in the description. Arx Fatalis had quite a lot of going for it. To me, it stands out as one of the most unique games I've ever played, and it makes me sad that it was kind of short. And again, no sequel, which sucks, since it feels like the devs tried to lead up to a sequel, but we didn't get it. The most I can do is search for something similar to this game. I want more Arx Fatalis. More!
You leave me.
And that's it for this review. It feels like a mountain has been lifted off of my shoulders. Thank you for watching. If you somehow made it this far and you didn't like the review, then please tell me why you didn't like it and tell me how I can improve. I would love to read your suggestions. If you did like it, maybe consider sharing it with someone, a friend or a family member, or even a pet. And maybe stick around. I have some video ideas, a review on a first-person shooter, and a driving game. Not sure which one will be ready first. And I also have a Let's Play series that I've recorded with my friend in Russian language with English subtitles. And if you see that I've made a video solely in Russian language with no subtitles, don't be alarmed, I'll still make some videos in English. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great day.
Goodbye.